Hey, it's Jay with 1791 Actual. Thanks for stopping by. This is going to be the sixth in our series of setting up Lee reloading dies. Uh, Again, we're focusing on Lee dies because that's what I use. Lee does a really good job of including instructions, a little pamphlet in with their die sets, walks you through how to set up your dies. But a lot of times, it's handy to see somebody actually go through and do what that pamphlet is telling you to do. So today we're looking at the die that would be found in this position in the 4-die case. So we've talked about the decapping and resizing die. We've talked about this guy, the non-Lee die that I use, which is the RCBS Ram Prime. We've talked about the case mouth expansion die, the powder through expansion die. We've talked about the bullet seating die and alluded to the crimp die. We've also alluded to the Lee seating and crimp die, which will be like an addendum video along the way here. So what goes here? Well, it's the crimp die. We just showed you how to seat the bullet and get it down to the crimp line, or the cannular as it's called. So here we have the crimp die, and again, I've got it all taken apart so that so you can see how the whole thing works. You've got your primary die body, and the primary die body, your bullet is going to slip up into there quite a ways. Okay. However, once it has a bullet in that case, it's a little harder to press in. It has an edge that it needs to get past. So at that point, now you can see the bullet is actually up in there. This is an inert bullet. There's no primer in it. There's no powder, so you can look down that die body straight at the bullet. You don't have to worry about getting shot through the camera at distance from an inert bullet. Okay, so YouTube Nazis, algorithms, you've got nothing on me. Okay, so for crimping, there's this collar that fits inside, and if you look, if I can get this to focus, you can actually see that there's an edge in there. That edge, that's the edge that goes down, and you can see here how that slips in, and it's actually going to press. This is called a Lee Factory Crimp Die. So this is milled such that when it presses in, it's actually going to emulate the factory crimp. So again, you can see very easily this, the thicker wall and the thinner wall. Thinner wall where that notch is goes down, slips down into the die. This is just controls the depth of that. You can hear it. You can hear it rattle around in there. So if I press that bullet, if I was to press that bullet up in there until it touched that, and then you start cranking it down, it's going to press that crimp. And of course, we have our jam nut that goes on the outside of it. This has actually been a very handy video series to make. I reload 38 Special and 357 quite a bit, and my dies were getting kind of cruddy on the inside, just from just from use. So it gave me an opportunity to take everything apart and clean it all with some rim oil, and it gets everything nice and clean and smooth. It's all the crud out of the threads. So it's been a beneficial series for me, just by the fact of getting things cleaned up. So let's flip over to the press side. As we always do, we're going to put our bullet, again, inert bullet, no primer, no powder. There is a bullet in it in the top of the case, but it's an inert round. So we're going to back our stem way out. We're going to bring our case up in, and we're going to screw this down. How far? Until it touches. Once it touches, take our jam nut down, and we don't need to do the whole drop the ram and give it a quarter turn and all that. We can just stop when it gets to the case, when it hits, and we'll turn our jam nut down, tighten the jam nut. If you've been watching the series, this is not what? It's not King Kong tight. I think last time I mentioned Godzilla too. So then we're going to drop our ram, and we're going to turn that crimp knob in. And as we turn the crimp knob in, we're going to feel it start pressing down, pressing in, till right there. Lower our ram just a little, and we're going to give that a little bit of a turn. Press, and I felt it start to crimp. Give it another little quarter turn. I felt it crimp more. At that point, we're going to take a look, and I just about where I want to be. I'll give it another 1/8 of a turn. And again, as I came down, I felt it pinch that in a little bit more. And there it is. And just like the bullet seating die, there's no jam nut here. So this isn't going to, this could, not likely, because it's got a O-ring in there that helps keep it from moving, but it could move. So I like to, I very carefully look at each round after I've got it done. But if we come back over here, and again, if I can get that dude to focus, you can actually see how that crimped into that crimp groove, or that cannular. That round is basically ready to go. Now, of course, I never consider them completely done until I do a plunk test. This is what's called a case gauge. This one gives you essentially cylinder or chamber. It emulates the chamber in various calibers. So this is 38 and 357. Drops right in. Super nice. So I know that that's going to work in my revolvers. I also know that it's going to work in my lever gun, because I've got a lever gun that shoots 357 and 38 special. So at that point, that would be a finished round. I really hope you've enjoyed this series so far, and we're going to have a couple more videos. I want to do one specifically on the Lee seating / crimp die. I want to so you can actually see how that one works. A lot of guys prefer doing the seating and the crimping as separate steps. I'm not really particular about that. I started off, I was using the seating and crimping die successfully. Had no problems whatsoever with using that. But then I ran across this 4-die set. You know, it doesn't have a case. I 3D printed my own case for it with the little cradles in there. But you know, it's easy. It's easy enough to set them up. When you set up the seating and crimp as one, you basically set up your seating position. Then you back that off, and you set up the crimping position. And once that's set, then you can bring your seating pin back down. Yeah, it's a little bit different. I have heard others say that the factory crimp die is much more accurate, easy to set up, and much more akin to the dies that you would get with the factory produced ammunition. Anyway, that's everything for this installment. As usual, thanks for stopping in. Hope you learned something. Hope you got a little enjoyment out of it. And if you did, please like, subscribe, do the notification thing, all that kind of stuff, and share with your friends. Have them have you get your friends to come check it out and see if they find something interesting here too. So. And if you have any questions, make sure and put something in the comments. I do read the comments on my social media. So if you have something, if you have a question or comment, you see something that it's like, hey, why'd you do it that way, or something like that, I'd be glad to answer you. And if you want to get to me offline, if you've got something specific that you want to chat about, you can reach me at 1791actual@gmail.com. And until next time, God bless, and see you on the other side.